Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to make a St. Patrick's Day inspired card. I started with a piece of white watercolor paper and I'm going to create my background using a stamp and two different ink colors. Of course, I'm going to use two different shades of green. I did wet my paper a little bit so the ink would sort of react with the water, and I'm using this stamp, this leaf stamp. I didn't have anything that looked like a 4-leaf clover, so I decided to use this one. Again, I'm stamping with two different inks, a lighter one and then a darker one on top, and it creates a beautiful ombre effect. And to create the background, I'm just stamping again and again, repositioning my stamp to make it look intentional, of course. It was quite a long process, so I sped it up a little bit. So I know that I've been away for a while and I'm very sorry about that. It's just that my job sometimes does take a lot of time from me, and I keep creating, but I don't have a lot of time to film because filming does take a little bit longer. But I will try to post videos more regularly. So this is the background all stamped, completed. Now I want to blend some of the ink on the edges of my paper. I did start with the lighter green color and then I'm gonna use the darker green as well. Then I decided to add some stenciling to my background, and I'm using this Tim Holtz stencil that I absolutely love with some vintage photo distress ink. So now I'm going to use a distress mica stains. I started with Unraveled and I wanted to splatter it on my background. And I decided to go with the nozzle because I tried to use it with the fan brush, but I wasn't quite liking how small the splatters were looking. So I went directly with the nozzle and it gives me these bigger splatters. And then I'm also going to use Fallen Acorn in a bit. So then I grabbed a piece of black watercolor paper and I did wet it a little bit because I'm going to use an embossing folder with it, and when you wet the paper it actually brings out the texture even more. And this is a beautiful embossing folder with a wood grain, and now I'm using the Fallen Acorn color. I absolutely adore this color. The effect that it gives, especially on black watercolor paper, is gorgeous. So I just sprayed it on, added a little bit of water to sort of make it move around and get into all the little texture of the paper. And then I'm gonna dry it with my heat gun and you're going to see how beautiful it looks. I did leave the drying part in because I wanted all of you to look at the transformation. It is a really beautiful brown color, but it has all these little specks of gold in it that looks absolutely gorgeous. I love, love, love this color. So now, because I want this base to look like weathered wooden planks, I'm sort of cutting the edges to make them look like actual planks. And of course, I'm cutting them in a way that makes them look uneven. And then I also decided to rough up the edges that I cut with my scissors. And now I'm gonna use some foam tape to glue this base down onto my actual background. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use these watercolor metallic paints, and I'm going to use the two greens that there are on the palette. First, I'm going to lightly brush them over the wood grain base. And then I'm also going to use them to splatter all over my base. They're not very visible on camera, but you'll notice at the end of the video where I give you the close-up of the finished project that they really give a very nice finish both to the wood grain base and the background. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the subject for my St. Patrick's Day card. I bought this die set a while back and I never used it up until now. And so I wanted to use it to create this card. It is a push cart die and it comes with a lot of accessories, and you can buy the different sort of decorations and accessories separately. There are the Christmas themed ones, there are some Halloween / fall themed ones, some with flowers, some to do a lemonade stand. And so I decided to use this die. And the first thing I did was color the sort of tent part. It doesn't come with a separate die to do the stripes, so I colored them myself with some watercolor pencils. This is the base of the cart, and I just cut it out of brown cardstock. For this one, I decided to go with a coffee themed push cart, a sort of coffee stall, obviously because you know of the Irish coffee. And now I'm just, of course, gluing down all the parts. If I remember, I will link the die set down below in the description. So this piece right here, I think it's supposed to be the stand part, where you put the actual little decoration on top. There are two different types in the die sets. There is a plain one and one who has a wood grain, and I used the latter because of course it's supposed to look like wood. This is the wheel. This wheel is not part of the original set. It's part of one of the Christmas sets, and I use this one because it has some nice little decorations on top, and I wanted to make them look even more visible, so I decided to go with the black watercolor pencils so I could darken up those areas a little bit and make them stand out more. And I'm gonna use some foam tape again to glue down the cart on top of my base because I want everything to look dimensional. And now I'm gonna go and start adding some decorations. This is the sort of menu part. Again, I don't remember where this particular die is from, what set, but again, it's going to be linked down below. And so if you want to check it out yourself, it's a really fun die. You can really mix and match all the parts to create all the different things together. I really love it because every part goes with another one, so you don't have to use the sets all together. You can mix and match them. This die is from the sort of harvest themed set. There are some vegetables and fruits, and I thought it would be nice to sort of make it look like a bag of coffee beans. This is the coffee pot, which I die cut out of silver cardstock, metallic cardstock. Then a cup, then a paper cup. I think I added a couple of paper cups, which were also part of the fall themed set. Now, here I wanted to make a bottle of whiskey, obviously. And what I did is I cut out this element out of two vellum papers, a green one and an orangey one. Now, this die is not from the pushcart set, it's from a Tim Holtz set. I don't remember how it's called, but it's a Halloween one. It has this is like it's supposed to be a potion bottle. It has different potion bottles, a crow, a book, keys. It's a Halloween one. I don't remember which one is it, but it's from Tim Holtz. Now here I wanted to make some sort of coffee blends bags. I didn't have any dye that looked like one, so I took this dye from, again, the set that I'm using. It's supposed to be a jar, but I sort of cut it in a kind of way that makes it look like a bag. And I'm sorry if you can hear my cat meowing in the background. She always meows when I record my audios on my phone, so I don't know why, but I apologize for that. And I wanted to create a label, and so what I did is I took the coffee bean sign that is on the coffee pot die, I cut it out, the obviously part that makes it look like a coffee pot, and I used it as a label for my coffee blends bags. And you can see I also added another paper cup. I did that off camera. Well, I thought I did it on camera, but I think I lost footage of that, which I apologize, but it was the same dye that I added before. Now I'm adding the sentiment. I'm going to write a cup of luck. So what I did is I cut a strip out of this cardstock, which is a sort of a textured cardstock. It's a nice cream color. And I measured the letters. The letters are from, again, another Tim Holtz set. It's a Christmas one with a Santa. And the strip is narrower compared to the letters. I wanted the letters to sort of come out of the strip a little bit. And I cut the very edge of the strip in a banner shape, and now I'm inking it up. And I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna separate the sentiment into different strips. So the first one is going to say a cup, and the second one is gonna say of luck. And of course I cut out the letters with green cardstock, and I'm gonna ink them up and glue them down onto my strip. You can see here that I had to add another little strip to the end of this one because I didn't have enough space to create the banner part. So I added another little strip of paper, but I was able to kind of hide it in the bent part, so it doesn't look like an actual add-on. And the sentiment is done. I'm just inking it up and I'll be gluing it down onto my card with some foam tape. And then I added some more of the punched out 4-leaf clovers. I punched them out of different shades of green cardstock, as well as some cardstock that I had colored with the watercolor paints that I used before, so they have a little bit of a shine to them. Now here I noticed that my wooden planks looked a little bit too straight for my liking, so I cut some of the edges to make them look even more weathered. And now with the pen, I'm going over the coffee sign to make the writing stand out a little bit more. And then I added some finishing steps onto the coffee bean bag. So this is a close-up of the finished card. I had a lot of fun creating this project and playing around with this die set. Again, if you want to check it out yourself, it's going to be linked down below in the description. You can see here all the little details, the different colors of splatters with the mica stain and with the watercolor paints, as well as the texture onto my background and onto the strip of the sentiment. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing to my channel, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!